This is Twit.
As soon as Microsoft launches a new version of Windows or Windows Phone or any operating system, everybody's already saying, what's next? Okay, what's next? I haven't even tried this yet, but what's next? And because they called this thing that they launched at Build Windows 8.1 update, it made it sound like that was it, right? Like there was an update and the next thing's probably Windows 9. But sources have told us that is not the case. And there's going to be another update, probably around August. And we don't know what they're going to call it. We don't know if it's going to be Windows 8.1 Update 2 or Windows 8.2 or how they're going to differentiate it from this first update. But they are definitely tracking towards having something around August, again, probably through the Windows Update as a deliverable. So out on a Patch Tuesday, probably. And we think the new Start menu may be part of what's in this update. They showed that Start menu just as a concept, a working concept during Build in early April in San Francisco. We don't know if that's exactly what the Start menu is going to look like. We don't know if it's going to be optional or if it's going to look different on touchscreen PCs versus non-touchscreen. We don't know any of that right now, but there is definitely something coming around August. And the reason is, instead of going on the every 1 year or so cadence that they had kind of established would be the new rule for Windows, they're now trying to do something where they're saying to the development team, okay, go. Let's see how much you can get done in this sprint in 3 months or 4 months. And at the end of that, whatever you get done, we're going to ship that. And that is a huge, huge difference for how Windows is built. I can't even explain how different that is. Instead of having the 3-year, here we're going to have this long plan, we're going to list out everything that's going to be in, and if you don't make certain milestone dates, that gets tossed. This is kind of more of a race to just get more functionality, more features, fixes out to customers way, way faster.
This is kind of the modern way of development, thanks to the internet and to web, right, is to ship early, break it, get input, and iterate on top of it. And this kind of agile, there's a lot of different terms for this, but so that's kind of, sounds like Microsoft kind of acknowledging that that's the way they're going to start doing Windows from now on, which, you know, it has its pros and cons. I mean, on the other, when you're doing, it's fine for an app.
Right. When
you're doing a platform, stability is a high priority on a platform, right? Mm-hmm. Consistency and stability. So failing early, breaking it, iterating on it, and improving it, that makes sense in an app. I don't know if it makes sense in a platform.
I sort of take the message here to be that we're not going to adhere to some arbitrary schedule. You know, Sinofsky used to talk about 3 years is a good amount of time, or Windows 8.1 taught us 1 year is a good amount of time, or, you know, let's split this stuff out. And I think that's the thing that's changed. Remember back in January, we were talking about Threshold, probably called Windows 9, would include various things, you know, Start menu, floating windows, and so forth. And I think the thing that's changed since then is Terry Myerson and his crew have looked at this and said, well, what if we can, you know, we pull one of these things out and do it faster? I mean, why not do it faster?
Why hold on to it for 2 years?
And that was the caginess I caught from them. You know, I talked to him and I talked to Joe B. And, you know, I said, you guys were kind of cagey how you described this. You know, you were saying these things would be delivered in a coming update to Windows 8.1. He said, yep. And I said, you know, you didn't say when or what the update would be called. He's like, yep. And I said, well, you know, in the old days, we would take that to mean, you know, you were worried it was going to be late. But, you know, the more I talked to these guys, the more, and no one said this, but the more it occurred to me just talking to them, I think they're thinking about whether they can deliver it more quickly. And I think that's
done when it's done. And we're not going to have an arbitrary schedule. We're going to,
or arbitrarily kind of tie it to an OS release, right? It's the same sort of thing you see in Windows 8.1. You know, in old releases of that OS, they would have all this, you know, social networking integration and whatever forms of integration in the OS. But as those services were updated, Windows Phone couldn't be updated that quickly. There was no way to push that stuff out to users. And so you kind of decouple it from that kind of monolithic OS core, and then you can update things more frequently. And we're already seeing it in Windows Phone.
That's an important distinction. So it isn't agile in the sense that you're going to ship it, break it, iterate on it. You're going to have a rock-solid platform. You're not going to stint on testing, But when it's done, you'll ship it. Is that right?
And Windows is certainly mature. I mean, the foundation of it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm sure there's still going to be internal testing, obviously, right? They're not just going to say, okay, done.
That's
ready,
what I hope
throw it
they're
over the
not
fence.
doing, which is saying, oh, well, we don't have to test as much, or
no,
whatever.
I don't think that's going to happen. But although I'll tell you on Azure, I've talked to them about this, and they are definitely in the mode of fail fast right now. Like, let's throw this out there and see in a day what people think of this feature. Is it working? Is it not working? Because that's the cloud, right? So you can just always update those bits very easily.
It's easy. They're your bits.
Right.
Yeah.
But on the operating system, that's a different thing because people download it, they implement it, and then if it breaks all your stuff, you're like, oh, wait, what just happened there, right?
And that is the potential downside here because you can test things all you want, but once you get this thing into the hands of millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of people, all of a sudden you see weird problems that didn't crop up during testing. And, getting a locally installed OS upgraded out in the field or in the world becomes very difficult, compared to upgrading an online service. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. This is kind of new territory for us.
I know. Yeah.